let's get on to old Michel Barnier. Everyone in
Oh,
the
here we
UK
go
who was a
with this one.
Brexiteer is going to know this tosspot, and if you don't, then you've got a very short memory.
Oh, yeah. He's been called out big time. And this time, as you're probably aware, he's no longer negotiator for the EU anymore. He's actually running for France's presidency. Is it president?
Yeah, he's fully
Yeah.
running. Yeah, 100%.
He's running for France's presidency for a centre-right Republican Party, believe it or not. And he's actually come out and said that France deserves sovereignty. Yes, you heard that right. You did hear that right. Now, he's actually called for the European Court of Justice to continue to hold sway in the UK, as you know, in part of the negotiations, and insisted they remain the sole and supreme arbiter of EU law. Well, recently, in his drive for the French presidency, he's actually claimed that France's sovereignty is something that he wants to demand.
Why wouldn't he demand it? He is an authoritarian like most of this lot, let's be honest here. But Brexiteers might remember not just his love for, like, the EU itself, he also had a great, massive love for the courts of justice that he's now trying to shit on. And
yes,
he also loved you paying millions and millions of pounds to support the courts of justice, along with his lavish lifestyle and the lavish lifestyle of all of the tosspots that were there, which I actually covered back in 2019 with the limousines each and all of this bollocks.
Oh, yes. He also secured, if you probably remember, Britain's commitment to the European Court of Human Rights, which isn't an EU institution, in return for our cooperation and their cooperation in extradition after Brexit.
That he did, 100%.
Well, at one of his recent rallies, he's just said, we must regain our legal sovereignty so that we are no longer subject to the rulings of the European Court of Justice or the European Court of Human Rights. Brexiteers have called him out for his hypocrisy.
Yeah, but do you see here where he says we will propose a referendum in September on the issue of immigration? This referring obviously to a call for halt on non-EU immigration into France for 5 years, something he had said previously, not at this rally.
Yeah, he did actually say, I remember one of his quotes, he did actually say that to be part of the single market, you would need to take on the 4 principles, one of them being freedom of movement.
Of course, yeah, freedom of movement. Now, he said he wants the freedom of movement to continue for EU nationals, but doesn't want non-EU nationals to have freedom of movement, which is essentially the same as what the UK was calling for in Brexit, is it not? We don't mind people from the UK, our union, having freedom of movement within the UK, but we don't want people from outside of our union, i.e. the European Union, having freedom of movement and the right to just come over here as they fucking please.
Yes. That was exactly it, yeah.
But don't you find it funny that he's now anti-EU immigration, or anti-immigration from outside the EU, despite supporting all and any coming to the UK itself, and has done for years?
Well, I think he's just playing to the crowd, to be honest. I think he's the sort of bureaucrat that will sell his soul.
Yeah, but surely
for a bit
the
more
old
power and a bit longer power.
Surely the old French know that he's literally was part of the EU and supported them and promoted them for years, and is now calling for France to essentially get out of it but stay in it. It's like a Theresa May Brexit. You sort of out,
and in out.
Like they don't have a thingy. They don't have a say over your laws or human rights, so you can just do whatever you please, I guess. But they have a say over your monetary policy, and you pay them money, and they can control other aspects of your fucking life and things like this. Is that what he's okay with? Is the centre-right going to be good with that in France? Maybe we'll have to see if there's any French listeners out there that can let us know, because I don't think it would be. Personally.
No, I don't either. I think, like I say, I think he's just trying to play to a crowd.
But yeah, my focus is on why does he want to get rid of the older European Court of Human Rights?
And he seems to be desperate to as well.
Yeah, what's his reasoning behind that? And especially as I said,
and why was he so desperate to keep us in it?
Well, never mind that. Why is he so desperate to get out of it now after all that's been going on in France, despite these laws, like I said? Like, that's worrying. France is already becoming an authoritarian hellhole. Why would you want to remove what limited protections people have for human rights unless you want to go full-on authoritarian? Maybe he's a little Trojan horse by the EU to go full on Nazi when he's in the old French government. Who the fuck knows? But it's certainly a bit concerning that he's trying to get rid of the old human rights laws. Who else wants to get rid of them? I mean, I'm no particularly great fan of them, but if they protect a few people's fucking human rights, then they might still be useful to have. I mean,
yeah, I definitely think they need refining.
They need, every fucking rights act and things that we have need reforming or refining, but they ain't gonna do it. But is a shit human rights act better than no human rights act, which then could be turned on us? Yeah, we might have our problems with human rights acts that stop our weak government from apparently deporting criminals and foreign people who shouldn't be here. But to be honest, do you believe it's the Human Rights Act that's stopping them and not just political willpower? Because if these politicians... If these politicians' jobs and livelihoods depended on them keeping the borders of this country safe, you guarantee that the numbers would be as low as the public expected, otherwise they'd be out on their ear. And what's this? It says here, look, which would stop all non-EU residency permit requests for 3 to 5 years, except asylum seekers and students, which essentially means he wouldn't stop anyone, if you ask me. Asylum seekers could mean economic migrants as much as they could actually mean refugees from countries that are war-torn. Although France is apparently war-torn, hence the boats coming over here every fucking day. Now, obviously following on from all this, Nigel Farage, former Brexit Party leader, criticised him and probably had a good old laugh to himself, let's be honest. He said Michel Barnier was the biggest hypocrite ever born for co-opting Eurosceptic arguments after working for the EU so long. 100% spot on, I have to say.
Apparently, the party he's running for has got little to no chance of winning anyway. Not with Macron and Le Pen running.
Yeah, I wonder what Macron's chances are now. Surely people must fucking hate him over there.
Yeah, you would think so, wouldn't you? If you look at the protests, shall we call them? We'll call them protests. If you look at that, I mean, public opinion must be in the gutter.
Yeah.
But then the only way that you've got to tell in that is by polls. And polls, if you ask the right people the right questions, you'll get the right answers.
Oh, what, like the YouGov 70% on almost everything polls? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't trust the polls.
That's just the height of stupidity, isn't it? Not even attempting to bother.
I literally don't trust the polls at all in the slightest.
No, I don't either.
That's just fucking incredible.
Where